Men are afraid of women. Is it your point of view?
That men are afraid of women?
Yes.
Some men are afraid of women. Weak men are afraid of strong women. But strong men aren't afraid of strong women.
Is it your problem?
Sometimes.
You are a strong woman.
Yes, and I do meet weak men.
Men are tall, strong, and independent. And because of this, the woman has always been afraid of the man. His lust for the woman turns this fear into terror, as the man has always desired the woman a lot, and the man has always expected a lot from the woman. She is expected to pleasure the man, comply with the man, submit to the man, and bear his children. She is tied to him, but he is not tied to her. She is tied to everything around her. She is tied to her body, the pill, the family, the man, culture, norms, law, politics, the medical institutions, the police, and the education systems. She is tied to everything without choice, but the man is not. And because of this, the woman has always been afraid of the man. But today, in modern society, the man is now afraid of the woman. Technological and sociological advances has granted the woman freedoms she did not have, and have eliminated systems that work to ensure the pleasure, compliance, and submission he used to have from the woman.
So I want to talk about why men of this generation are scared of women.
These sociological advances and imaginations have worked to empower the woman, but disempower the man. The man today has been conditioned and indoctrinated to not only accept his own disempowerment, but he has also been conditioned and indoctrinated to accept the woman's scorn and to be terrified of the woman's emotionality. Today, he is terrified of the woman. His fear is his reverence, and his reverence is his fear. And in this life, what you fear will master you. So his master is now the woman. He used to fear God, but he no longer fears God. He no longer believes in God. He only believes in the woman who now lords over him. But how can a lord lord if it is terrified of those it lords over? How can a lord lord if it reveres those who revere it? How can a lord lord if it is scared of those who believe in it? It can't, but it does. The woman is a terrible lord, but lords over the man regardless. And she does this through fear. Fear of her beauty, fear of her emotionality, and fear of her promiscuity. I'll say that again. Fear of her beauty, fear of her emotionality, and fear of her promiscuity.
So, what should we do to make men more confident of themselves so that they won't be afraid from us?
Be true to yourself. Be honest about what you need and what you want and who you are. And if they can't accept you, then you have to say goodbye. That's the best thing you could do for them, because in the end they're going to realize that if they want you, they must accept you for who you are.
This has resulted in the creation of two types of men in the woman's eyes: the men who fear them and the men who do not. The men she lords over and the men who continue to lord over her. You see, the woman will always be terrified of the man because the man is tall, strong, and independent. And in this life, what you fear will master you. So a man who does not fear the woman will always master the woman. This mastery is felt as power. This mastery is felt as attraction. This throws a spanner in the works of society as the women continue to be attracted to and submit to the men she fears. She does not want the men who fear her. She continues to want the men she fears. She does not want the 80% of men who has been successfully conditioned and indoctrinated for her to lord over. So behind closed doors, she continues to pleasure, comply, submit to, and bear the children of the 20% of men who somehow escaped and resisted all of society's conditionings and indoctrinations. This has created a secret system within society that completely goes against the will of society, where the women chase the men who escape and resist them, and lord over and dominate the men who do not. The men who escape and resist society and the woman is felt as masculine, is felt as powerful, and is felt as independent to the woman. All things the woman fears and all things that master over the woman. The woman who, despite all the technological and sociological advances, despite all the empowerment that has been given to her, and despite all the disempowerment that has been given to the man, still seek the leadership of a man, still seek a lord. She does not want the men who seek her leadership. She does not want the men who see her as his lord.
I am learning that I need somebody who can, for the lack of better words, put me in my place.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Put me in my place.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
And it doesn't mean, he's going to come home and beat me, because I think that's where people's minds go to. But he needs to have very strong boundaries.
Yes.
Because I find a lot of Western men don't have strong boundaries.
Yes.
So it's just like, whatever you say goes. And I can't have that, because I know myself, I will lose respect for you. If you can't say no to me,
100%.
I will lose respect.
Women, they want to be put in their place when they need to be. They want a strong guy. They want a guy who has a sense of self. If they for a second sense that you're a doormat, it's done. It's done. She's bored of you. She's wandering on, because she's going to look for that guy who's going to say, hey, honey, you got a bad attitude. And I don't feel like, hanging with a bad attitude tonight. So see you later. And then they're like, what do you mean I can do better? I was just like feeling, I'm sorry. Right?
What are you afraid of?
My wife?
Did you say wife or life?
My wife.
My wife. He is afraid of his wife. Give me a hand for that one. That's true.
So, ironically, today, fellas, the men who do not conform to society are rewarded, and the men who do are punished. This is a failure of society and an inaccurate prediction of the future. The men who can see this and act accordingly win, and the men who fail to see this and act accordingly lose. The social conditioning has been a success, fellas. And it's crazy how terrified 80% of men are of women. Even the men who go on like they do not like women still pedestalize them and still revere them. This is how I see the red pill movement, and this is how I see the black pill movement. And these are movements that think they are focused on the empowerment of men. They cannot see how the woman still lords over them. They cannot see their continued fear. The fact that so many men even get nervous around women and don't know what to say around women is crazy to me. How can a fully grown man be afraid of a little emotional, confused woman who listens to words of affirmations all morning, chick flicks all day, and jumps when the microwave dings in the night? It's pathological. Fear is something you feel when you see a tiger. You are not supposed to feel fear when you see a little girl. Such a small percentage of men do not fear women, and they are successful with women because they are not operating with this modern sickness. Men have been raised to be petrified of the woman's emotionality. They are terrified of letting her down, making her feel insecure, upsetting her, doing something wrong, not saying something in the right way, forgetting things, what her friends think, what her stupid family thinks, moving too fast or moving too slow, being beaten up by other men because of upsetting her or accidentally hurting her, even approaching women because they're afraid of being thrown in prison, because they're afraid of public perception, terrified of her reaction, terrified of telling her the truth, terrified of being in an elevator with her, terrified of being broken up with, terrified of being cheated on, terrified of her promiscuity, and terrified of not being good enough. These men are terrified of falling out of favor with their Lord and her subjects. There are men who deeply care and depend on all of these things. These are also the men the women are not attracted to. And there are men who do not care about any of these things. These are also the men the women are attracted to. So women enjoy two types of pleasures today. The 80% of men she lords over and the 20% of men who lord over her. Now, fellas, ask yourself this question. What type of man are you? So, fellas, what I want you to take away from this video is that what you fear masters you. And the woman naturally fears the man. So all that is required for you to master the woman is to not fear her. Now, I don't know about you, but that is deeply profound to me. And if it's not deeply profound to you, then there is something wrong with you. A coward was never supposed to be able to achieve the outcomes he wanted in life. The hardship the man is exposed to, the trials and tribulations, the inequalities and injustices, there are there for you to overcome. And if you can overcome the pain and sufferings of this life, you will be rewarded for it. This is the gold, the diamonds, and the treasures promised to the faithful man. The man who does not submit to his fears, the man who does not bend to his fears, the man who does not run away from his fears, avoid his fears, deny his fears, suppress his fears. Your punishment by God, by the universe, by nature, by humanity, is that you will be punished for your cowardice. You will be punished for your fear. The woman simply acts as a mirror to you. That is what the woman is, fellas. She carries out God's judgment, and in many ways, she's impartial. The work you do on yourself is directly reflected by your success and the reward you will have with women. And you need to understand, if this is complicated for you to understand, I want you to look at the world simply through this binary: faith and fear. The more faithful you are as a man, the more aligned you are to your higher calling, your duty, your obligation, the more you operate in faith. When you avoid these things, the more fearful you are. When you choose the path of cowardice, your life will consist of anxiety, you not achieving any of your outcomes, inhibitions, apprehensions, and you'll be unattractive. Nothing will be attracted to you, and you will attract none of the things that you want for yourself. It's really that simple. You have faith and you have fear. The woman simply demands excellence. She is a mirror to you, and you will be punished for everything that you fear. The only thing that you should fear is your God, is what happens to you when you do not answer that call. When you do not do the things you're supposed to do. This is the only thing that you should fear. When you do not live a life of working towards your highest potential. When you do not do what God commands of you. This is the only thing you should fear. You do not fear death. You do not fear negative outcomes. You do not fear failure. You do not fear other men. And you most certainly do not fear the woman. I said this before in a previous video, and I had a couple of cowards basically call me out saying it is impossible to not fear death. It is impossible to not have fear. So I want to quickly go over the concepts of bravery and courage. What you do in the face of fear says everything about you. What you do when you experience fear sets up and calibrates your nervous system, your ego, your behavior, and your character, your spirit, and your vitality. Courage is one of the man's greatest higher values. When a man is face to face with something he is afraid of, what does he do? does he take steps towards it or does he take steps away from it? The man who is courageous takes steps towards the things he is afraid of despite how he feels. The woman who will always take steps away from the things that she is afraid of completely relies on the man who doesn't do the same. The woman has something that we call neuroception, and you can either call it a sixth sense or an eighth sense. And this is the ability to be able to read the nervous system of others. It's an interpersonal skill the woman naturally has, something she does unconsciously and subconsciously. And as I said in my videos all of the time, it is essential that you as a man are completely polarizing to the woman. The woman identifies you as a coward. The woman identifies you as something she should lord over if she has a similar ego to you, if she has a similar nervous system to you. If you are the type of individual who is avoidant motivated, you will be punished, fellas. It's really that simple. If you are also the type of individual who takes steps away from the things you are afraid of, you are a coward in the woman's eyes. Bravery is another higher value that every single man should practice. This is not a higher value that the majority of men practice. Very few men practice bravery as a higher value. Now, this is slightly different from courage. This is the ability to take steps towards danger without even feeling fear. Or you could say, within 0.5 seconds of feeling fear. Now, this is something that is needed in crucial and dangerous situations that require split decisions and split thought. Not everything has the time and patience to wait for your courage. And bravery is something that the woman doesn't always get a chance to see. But if a situation occurs to where you have a 0.5 second decision to take steps towards this danger, to find a solution that has required you taking steps towards it, and you fail that test, the woman will lose attraction for you. The woman will not see you as something that should lord over the woman. The woman will see you as something that either she should lord over or something that should be abandoned and punished. The woman deep within her soul has a desire to reject, embarrass, humiliate, and abandon cowardly men, men of low value, men with avoidant motivated behaviors. This is something that so many men suffer with, because it's not necessarily a man's fault why he is a coward. 9 times out of 10, it's not a man's fault why he is afraid of things. And this man incorrectly sees himself similar to a woman, something that should not be destroyed, punished, humiliated, rejected, and abandoned for simply being weak. But unfortunately, fellas, this man doesn't understand. His continued weakness, his continued cowardice is a decision, is bad, unacceptable for himself and for the people around him. It is a form of evil in this life. Choosing to not become a strong man, choosing to not practice higher values like courage, bravery, and resilience, choosing to not answer that call is a form of evil. This man cannot protect or do anything for himself or for the people he loves. Hypothetically, this is a man, when robbers break into his house, this is a man who hides under the bed with his woman. This is a man who does not slay his dragons. And a man who does not slay his dragons cannot slay the dragons for his woman, for his children, or for his people. This is a man who avoids life. This is a man who denies life. That is an evil man. Unfortunately, a good man is a man who affirms life. A good man isn't a man who puts his safety before the things he should be doing, before his family, before his loved ones. I always tell you guys that my favorite character in history is Jesus Christ. And I love Jesus for so many reasons, but the reason why I love Jesus the most is the fact that he sacrificed himself for a greater cause, for the greater good. He was terrified of this. He had 40 days and 40 nights of fear. Now imagine knowing that for certain you are going to die a horrible death. This is something that every single man would feel a great deal of fear for. He picked himself up and he proceeded to do what is right. There is no guarantees that a man will not die in this life. There is no guarantees that a man will not go to prison. Fellas, I've been on this planet for a while now, and honestly, this is the greatest difference that I've seen between men. There is a certain level of grandiosity and vitality that a man who is afraid of death, negative outcomes, prison, how people perceive him, failure, there is a certain grandiosity and vitality that that man does not have. And then there is a certain grandiosity and vitality of men who do not fear these things have. It is attractive. It is not just attractive to women. It is also attractive to men. When I come across men like these, I have a desire to get to know these men. I have a desire for these men to be my friend, to add these men to my inner circle. There is a sense of grandiosity and vitality in their independence. The type of man who puts his values before his emotions. The type of man who puts his goals and his higher calling before his own pleasures, comforts, and securities. This is the grandiosity and vitality that so many men lack today. This is the reason why you'll spend a day, have a day of cowardice, go home and jump on your video game set and act and pretend to be the types of man that you're not. The types of man who puts himself out there and puts the things, his dreams, the things that he wants to achieve, the things he knows is his right before his own comforts and safety. This is the reason why so many men reminisce about the past, fantasize about the past, to where men used to go to war, to where men used to live a life nobly, to where men used to find a noble cause to die for. This is the reason why men fantasize about knights and warriors and paladins and all of these things that the man is nothing like today. That the man is nothing like today. He convinces himself that if he was simply in those times, that is the type of man he will be. And this is also the reason why so many men convince themselves that today is the worst the world has ever been, which is disgusting to me, because the truth is this is the best and the easiest the world has ever been. It's just that the world has never ever been filled with so many cowards. And then we are wondering why female promiscuity is rampant. We are wondering why societies are crap. We are wondering why we're not producing any men. We're not raising children correctly. In order to have success with women, you simply need to not fear them. Simply need to not be afraid of the woman. The woman who is naturally afraid of the man because of the man's independence, because the man is tied to nothing, whilst the woman is tied to everything around her, including her body. The woman is naturally afraid of the man who is taller than her, stronger than her, more independent than she can ever be, biologically superior to her. The woman who naturally fears the man. And what you fear will master you. So in order to simply have success with the woman, you must simply not fear the woman. When you do not fear the woman will fear you. And what we fear will master you. In a previous video, I communicated to you guys that you need to address and confront all fear. You've got three main types of fear. You've got the fear standing before you. These are going to be your obvious enemies, the foe, obvious enemies that you have to deal with and take steps towards, find a solution for. Obvious enemies. You've got the fear standing behind you. These are the people in your inner circle. Your woman, your mother, your brother, your sister, your friends. People that you're supposed to trust. You need to confront and take steps towards this type of fear. When your enemy is a loved one, when your enemy is the woman, what do? This is where the woman is focusing on your boundaries. Focusing on your boundaries. When a woman is testing your boundaries, she's testing how you deal with people you love, people in your inner circles, your boundaries, right? Your privacy, your values, your direction, your purpose. She's testing you. Are you afraid of any aspects there? You got to confront all fears. You can't be a coward in any domain. All right? This is different. Your boundaries is different from an obvious enemy. If you're out and about and some guy smacks your Mrs. Bum, you have to ride. You have to ride. It's just that simple. That's a different type of an enemy, right? A different type of fear. Courage and bravery. And then you've got the fear and the enemies, the dragons that you have to slay that comes internally. Your woman's testing all of these things. What is attractive to the woman is all of these things. This is what is attractive to the woman. You need to understand your behaviors, so your actions and your reactions are attractive or unattractive. Your ego and your nervous system is attractive or unattractive. All of these things is going to constitute your aura. The bulk of your aura is your nervous system and your ego. That's the bulk of your nervous system, of your aura. Your nervous system and your ego. Then it goes your actions and your reactions. And then it goes your skin, how you present yourself. That's how attraction works, brothers. Right? That's how attraction works. And then you have all of the other fundamental aspects of seduction, information, story, narrative that I teach you guys comprehensively all of the time. All right? But your woman's going to test absolutely every single one of the things that you fear. Everything. She is designed by nature to do so. She is unconsciously doing this. She is subconsciously doing this. This is what keeps the woman emotional. Fellas, in many ways, we are the main characters on earth. The woman is literally a side character. The woman just simply ensures our excellence, our growth. The woman is a mirror to us. The woman is a reward to us or a punishment to us. What the woman is attracted to is simply the qualities of an excellent man, a man who is on his way to excellence. That's what the woman is attracted to. What the woman is unattracted to is simply on a man who is to a man who is in hell, or a man who is on his way to hell. Just an unattractive man. A man who isn't excellent. That's what the woman is not attracted to. It really is that simple. The woman is attracted to the types of man who is on his way to establish a heaven, or a man who has already established a heaven. That's where the woman will find her salvation, her sanctuary. It's that simple. And then a man who has not established a heaven, and a man who is not on his way to establish a heaven, the woman is not attracted to him. Right? Now, obviously, you've got short-term attraction and stuff like that. But that's because the woman can be confused by your vitality, by your grandiosity. That can communicate to the woman that you have a sanctuary or a heaven. Your grandiosity and your vitality, your vim and your vigor. This is the reason why women are attracted to bad guy archetypes, because they usually have this sense of grandiosity and vigor in them. Right? So that confuses the woman. But as I said, this is how attraction works, guys. It really is how faithful you are. That's it. Are you a faithful man or a fearful man? And the woman's going to test all of these things. And we understand this and we know this, fellas, because I'm telling you, if you guys have never been a player, if you guys have never pieced yourself together in a way to where multiple women will happily share you, if you've never experienced that, if you've never been the type of guy where multiple women will openly share you, openly compete for you in public, then you won't understand these things. You don't understand the polygamous nature of the woman. You've never experienced a woman's polygamous nature, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because when you piece yourself together as that guy, the women will reward you. The women do not need your loyalty, fellas. If you are excellent enough, the women will reward you for your excellence. Have you heard how, rich guys who know what they're doing, most rich guys who are actually that guy, they don't spend money on women. Just the fact that you're rich qualifies you for some pussy. It's just that simple. The woman has a deep desire to reward men who are excellent or on the path to excellence. That's as simple as that. You don't even have to be committed to them, loyal to them, or anything like that. This is down to your decision as a man, your charity as a man, who you decide who you're going to love, who you are going to save, who you are going to boost up to your level, boost up. It's completely dependent to who you decide to enter into your heaven. But you don't have to. When you make yourself excellent, when you're on the journey to excellence, when you are a courageous guy who doesn't have fear, who certainly doesn't fear the woman, but at the same time doesn't hide away from women, enjoy women, have access to women, has created a life to where he has his options, his choice, his optionality, his access to the women he wants to have access to, the women will just simply reward you for your excellency. Please understand, that's why women, there'll always be groupies, there'll always be women who will queue up to reward the men she perceives to be excellent. You really have to understand what I am saying. You would really see the polygamous nature of women. A lot of men have never experienced the polygamous nature of women. They have no idea how happy a woman is to share an excellent man. All right, and before I leave you, I'm going to leave you with just one more because the video is getting long, right? Something that seems to fool so many men that you guys don't understand, all right? Your desire to own a woman is an expression of insecurity. Your desire to own women communicates fear. Your desire to own a woman communicates fear. One success I've had my entire life, ever since I lost my virginity when I was 13 years old, is that I've never had a desire to own women. And I've never expressed that desire to a woman either. And the women will always express the desire to own me. And they're always a little bit upset that I don't have the same desire or motivation to own them. I've always been so much more invested in their freedom, invested in their growth and development, invested in them becoming who they can be. I've actually been the opposite of many, many guys. When I was younger, fellas, I used to convince women to go elsewhere and deal with other men. Right? Because they were putting too much attention onto me, they were being too emotional to me, and they were being too crazy to me. I wanted to continue to enjoy my optionality, and these women were turning into stalkers. This is something that I learned at a young age. It's some game that I've had for a very long time, right? The counterintuitive nature of it all, right? I learned a very long time ago that one of the most attractive things you can be as a man is to not want to own a woman, right? Because it's a very feminine thing to want to own a partner. That's a part of the consumptive love. It's just fear, insecurity. You're worried. You want to own them, right? In the past, there's always been women that's wanted to marry a man. The woman would drag the man down to the altar, drag him, kicking him and screaming. Today, men want to marry women more than women want to marry men. Why? Why do you want to own a woman and shackle a woman down? You're afraid of her independence? I've told you guys many times before, as a man, your power is your independence. The woman's power is her beauty. But when you're trying to own the woman, when you're trying to shackle the woman down, when you're the one who's trying to formulate a relationship, formulate a monogamous relationship, try to make her into your wife, it shows that you're afraid of her independence. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, fellas. Your fear of your woman moving on literally triggers the woman's almost guaranteed nature that she's going to be promiscuous. I can't explain to you, fellas, how as soon as a woman picks up fear that she's going to leave you, fear that she's going to sleep with someone else, fear that she's going to abandon you one day, it just gives her all the motivation and incentive to do so. The woman is simply a reflection of us. I told you in my last video, a woman's identity is completely based around us. This is how much she fears the man. This is how much we master the woman when we don't fear the woman. Let me explain to you what the woman's identity is. The woman's identity is either what we expect her to be. She will either submit to that or she will resist that. I'll say that again. The woman will either submit to our expectations or resist it. She will either submit to it or completely go the opposite way. The woman can't even formulate her own identity. She can't formulate her own path. She's there to be mastered by the man. Her literal existence is to serve us or to resist us. She can't formulate her own path. She's not an independent being, fellas. Please understand what I'm saying. As soon as you stop fearing the woman, that is exactly when you gain mastery over her. It's just that simple. And when you stop fearing women as well, I don't want you guys to go on like, oh yeah, I stopped fearing women a long time ago, but yet you've got no women. No, you're not there. When you truly stop fearing the woman, you will have so much access to women. You will understand and see how easy the woman is. You guys who struggle with women, fear women. It's just that simple. You can never ever explain anything to me. You pedestalize women. You simply do. You think you're not good enough for a woman. You simply do. You can never convince me any differently. You still pedestalize women. When you stop fearing women, you will have access to exactly the types of women that you would like access to. There's just no two ways about that. Fellas, please leave a like, leave a comment, sign up for one-on-one coaching. You know I love you guys. I'm very passionate about helping you guys. All right. Love you guys so much. Thank you for supporting the page. Please continue that. You guys, I believe I've got the best comments on the best comment section. Thank you guys so much. I've heard a lot of you guys, you're interested in longer format content. I've got a Patreon coming out soon. It's there, but I need to wait until I have newfound capacity so I can actually launch it and manage something else. I'm already at full capacity at the moment. You know what I'm trying to say? So honestly, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for the support. If courage and bravery aren't higher values that you guys practice every day, please, as soon as you see this video, as soon as you finish this video, immediately make courage, bravery, and resilience your higher values. Practice these qualities every single day in every interaction that you enter. I promise you, in 1 year's time, do you know how powerful you will become? Stop being fearful. Think about everything you've ever been afraid of. Fear, 9 times out of 10, is irrational. It's illogical. Fear is irrational. It's illogical. 90% of the things you men have feared has never came into fruition. 90% of the things you guys have feared has never came into fruition. And the things that did come into fruition, you manifested it. You manifested it. Fear creates self-fulfilling prophecies. Stop fearing things. Life is not that scary. This is the safest you've ever been, ever. You should only be afraid of tigers, lions, bears. And we've removed these from the lands. Don't be afraid of another man. Don't be afraid of a woman. A lot of you guys are afraid to talk to a stranger. Why? That's pathological. Why are you afraid of small talk? What do you mean? A woman comes up, your heart starts beating. What's wrong with you? Sign up for one-on-one coaching. Let me help you. Right? Small talk makes your heart start beating. A date, you're nervous, your heart rate is beating. What's going on here? That should only happen if someone knocks at your door with a gun. And still you should feel in your mind, a man with a healthy ego, he believes he'll be able to get to that gun before. Come on, brothers. If you want to recalibrate your ego, recalibrate your nervous system, work on your fear, put you in the path of faith, please sign up for one-on-one coaching. Let me help you. For everybody else who's signed up for one-on-one coaching, let me get back to you. I'm just very, very busy. Everyone in my WhatsApp, let me get back to you. I'm very, very, very busy, fellas. Love you guys. Enjoy your day. Let's have a faithful day. No more fear. No more fear, fellas.